Okay, you can move back. Okay. Read. Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples from the orchard. For the second time, beginning after Pesach 2014. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe, Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contain selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. Okay, so right now we are at page 504, chapter 2 of Vayakhel. Arcs of Divine Consciousness. Okay, I'll go first. Number 1. Welcome, Vayakhel. Welcome back. Glad you're with us, able to join. Hashem told Moshe to build a box called the Aron, in which to place the tablets, the luchot. It was made of wood, covered inside and outside with gold. Practically, they made a box of gold, placed it into a box of wood, and placed the box of wood in another box of gold. Thus, there were 3 boxes, gold, wood, gold. Concentric boxes. Can you say that? 3 concentric boxes. Okay. Does eccentric boxes sound better?
No. Eccentric usually refers to circles.
Okay. 504. Yeah. Chapter 2. Go ahead, Alan.
Arcs of Divine Consciousness. Hello.
No, sound is terrible. Alan's sound is terrible.
And I was okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Alan is not.
I'm right. How's that? Better?
Yeah, that's good.
Bezalel made the ark of acacia wood. It was 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits tall. Following passage from the writings of the Arizal continues and amplifies the passage about the ark quoted and explained in Parshas Teruma. It would be advisable to review this segment before proceeding.
Okay. You don't have to worry. I didn't do that either. I was going to say I did it for you, but I didn't. Number 2, the Torah represented by the Luchos corresponds to the name Havaya. And just as Elohim conceals and channels Havaya, the Aron concealed and protected the Luchot. The 3 boxes of the Aron correspond to the three spheres of Atzilus, where Elohim manifests: Bina, Gvura, and Malchus. Me? Get the blow on it. 3 boxes of the Aron correspond to the 3 spheres of Atzilus, where Elohim manifests: Bina, Gvura, and Malchus. The gematria of Elohim, Aleph Lamed He Yud Mem, is 86, and 3 times 86 is 258. Right? 3 times 80 is 240, and 3 times 6 is 18. 258, the same as Haran. Now over here, they don't make the connection to Haran. I think we've talked about it before a number of times. But why this is significant? But the Haran is the town where Abraham lived before he moved to Israel, and where Lavan lived. I'm not sure if it's today in Syria or in Turkey, but somewhere there. And that's where Yaakov ran away from his father's house, and he went to Lavan, his uncle. Haran means anger, and our sages teach the town was the focus of Hashem. Okay, go ahead, Alan.
The name Elohim is manifest in 3 places in Atzilus: in Bina, in Gevura, and in Malchus. The numerical values of these 3 names Elohim together is 258, the same as the numerical value of the word Haran. Bezalel made 3 arks corresponding to these 3 names in order to conceal within them the Torah, which is a manifestation of the name Havaya. The relationship between the names Havaya and Elohim is that of light and vessel, or message and medium. Elohim, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, Mem, 1 plus 30 plus 5 plus 10 plus 40 equals 86, shares the same numerical value with the word for nature, Ateva. Hey, Tes, base, Ayin, 5 plus 9 plus 2 plus 70 equals 86. Reflecting the fact that nature, or the natural order that pervades creation, conceals the divine energy behind and within it. The gateway to divine consciousness in this world, which contravenes the facade of nature, is the Torah. Thus, just as the physical arks of the tabernacle house tablets of the covenant, which is encapsulated the entire written and oral Torah, the spiritual arks, the 3 names Elohim of Atzilus, conceal within them and thereby channel into the world the divine consciousness of the name Havaya.
Okay, thanks. Number 3. Gold has a reddish hue and is associated with Gevura. Of the 3 spheros, Bina is the highest and Malchus is the lowest. When looking from above, Bina is first and is the root of Gevura. When looking from below, Malchus is first and is the root of Gevura. Therefore, the severity is most intense at Bina and Malchus, and that is why the outside and inside boxes were made of gold. The middle box, corresponding to the sphere of Gevura, where the severity was not as intense, was made of wood.
How can the top be the root of Gevura and the bottom be the root of Gevura?
And Gevura is not the root of Gevura.
And
Root.
Gevura is in the middle.
Right. Because it's the source, it's where it starts.
It starts at the bottom and the top.
Well, it depends how you're looking at it. Depends on your perspective.
That's really interesting.
Yes. Yes, I agree. 505 at the top.
Since the root of the Sephirotic tree from above is Bina, and from below is Malchus, the inner and outer arcs were made of gold, while the inner arc was made of wood. This is because gold expresses the full intensity of holy Gevura. The Sephiros function both as channels through which divine beneficence is transmitted to the world, and as levels of the consciousness through which man may ascend. When the Sephirotic tree is viewed as beginning above and extended down below, the root is Bina, the source of its branches, the attributes of the heart. When it is viewed as beginning below and ascending, the root is Malchus. These 2 spheres thus define the borders of the matrix of divine energy or consciousness, within which divine energy is funneled earthward. They are the inner and outer arcs, Elohim, in which the divine energy itself, Havaya, is sheathed. Red is usually the color associated with Gevura. Gold is a reddish color, but also possesses a brilliance and shine. It therefore is seen as the idealized or holy red.
5. Before we said the gematria of Elohim times 3 is 258, the same as Haran. The gematria of Aaron is 257. And with the Kolel, it's also 258. That math is right?
Yeah.
257 and 1 is 258?
Yes, it works that way.
Okay, I wrote numbers wrong before and I was like, I had to go back and double check. Okay,
Now, the numerical value of the word for ark, Aaron, plus the kolel equals the numerical value of the word Haran. Aaron, Aleph Resh to Vav Nun, 1 plus 200 plus 6 plus 50 equals 257.
okay. Now. Did he miss this one?
I know.
I can leave it. Okay. 5. While the gematria of Aleph is 1, the word can also be read, or the Aleph can also be read Elef, which means 1,000. Is there a relationship between 1 and 1,000? Of course. Also, so one thing is that it's the word itself. The name of the letter Aleph is Elef, is 1,000. But also the last letter Tuf is 400. The 5 final letters, final Chaf, final Mem, final Nun, final Pei, and final Sadi, can be 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900. Okay, typically we count the Chaf as a final Chaf, the same as a regular Chaf, is 20. We count the final Mem, same as a regular Mem, 40, and so on. But as we see, there are many different ways to find the values of letters and of words. So the five final letters can be 500, 600, 700, 800, and 900. And then you finish, you go back to the beginning. And Aleph becomes 1,000. If we count Aleph as 1,000, the word Aron, which we said is the name of the cabinet for the Luchos, has a gematria of 1,256. And this is the same as the total of 3 angels. I wrote their Hebrew names. The rule is we only say the name of an angel if it's also used as a human name, like Raphael or Michael, or even let's say Nuriel. And if there's a famous finance guy named Nuriel Rubini. They say he predicted the housing market crash in 2008. So those we can say, but these are not names of people. So in this class we call them Kati, Tron, and Sandal. Tron, of course, for the 80s movie with the same name. Okay, Alan, go ahead. Quote the Raven.
Furthermore, if we take the Aleph of Aaron to equal 1,000, the numerical value of Aaron is the same as the combined values of Kati, Tron, and Sandal. Aaron is Aleph, which is 1,000, Resh 200, Vav 6, Nun 50, which is 1,000 plus 200 plus 6 plus 50, 1,256. Akati is 662, Tron is 314, Sandal is 280, and if you add up 662, 314, and 280, you get 1,256.
That was a very good year.
These 3, I remember well. These 3 angels are the personifications of the consciousnesses of the worlds of Atzilus, Berea, and Yetzirah, respectively.
Okay. I was wondering why they took these 3 angels out of anybody. They're the personifications of the consciousnesses of the worlds of Atzilus, Bria, and Sira. Okay, that helps. The 7. Oh, I haven't to 6. 7. Divine light shines strongest in Atzilus. Therefore, it's compared to Havaya. Just as the light of Atzilus is concealed in the lower 3 stages of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, the Luchos are kept in 3 boxes of the Aron. Okay, go ahead, the tablets.
Inside the 3 arcs were a manifestation of the name Havaya of the world of Atzilus. For example, the open divine consciousness manifests throughout the entire world of Atzilus, which becomes clothed in the worlds of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. This is alluded to by the fact that the numerical value of these three names, Elohim.
Hold on, please. I'm going to read that. Okay. Overrunning a base, you can get tagged out. Beautiful. 8.
Okay.
As we said, the name Elohim represents how divine light is concealed. The process of concealment occurs through the name Adni, which is primarily in Malchus. So I guess Adni is the process, and Elohim is the fact that it's concealed. 3 times Elohim is 258, that we said already. The regressive iteration of Adni is 126. Okay, so again, their formula is the same. There are different names for it. Here, he doesn't use the name. Regressive iteration shows that the light is being concealed. Here he uses the other name for it, Ribua. Ribua literally means square, but I can't say the square of a number because it means something else. So in any case, the regressive iteration of Adni is 126. That means 4. Oh, there are 2 ways to look at it. You can do 1, that for the Aleph, 1 plus 4 for the Aleph and Daled, 1 plus 4 plus 50 for the Aleph, Daled, and Nun, and then 1 plus 4 plus 50 and 10 for the Aleph, Daled, Nun, and Yud. Another way to look at it is 4 1s, 3 4s, 2 50s, and 1 10. You have change?
So there's one question I have here. I think there's an error. It says here on 505, the 3 angels are personifications of the consciousness of the worlds of Atzilus, Bria, and Yetzira, respectively. As I read this, the angels are clothed, are forms of the Elohim, forms of the closure of Bina and Gevura and Malchus. And so it should read, in my opinion, the 3 angels are personification of the consciousness of the world of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, not Atzilus, because Atzilus, as I get it, is the Luchos, and Atzilus is Chavaya, and that's the divine consciousness which becomes clothed in the world of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. I think that's an error. That's all.
This is an excellent point. We just said here that the 3 boxes stand for Yetzira, Bria, Yetzira, Asiya. That's an excellent point. It could be that it refers, that this is the fact, and it refers to Atzilus as it is in a as a container rather than as a light.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Atzilus is lower compared to Kesser, for example.
Yeah, but it does say that the tablets were manifestation of Chavaya in the world of Atzilus, and so I don't know how.
You're right. Unless it's just this is the fact, and it's talking about 2 different aspects.
Right.
It's not the first time that we found things that don't lie or would appear to be discrepancies.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go back to 8. So we had 3 names Elohim is 258. The regressive iteration of Ad is 126, and together 256 and 128. I'm sorry, 258 and 126 is 384. 384. Shechina, usually translated as divine presence, and refers to the divine light that resides in creation, equals 385.
Mhm.
And with the kolal of the first value, they are the same. The first one was what was the first one? Oh, Shechina is 385, and the first one was 384. So we'll add 1 to the first one, and we'll get. Yeah, but what's the matter here?
This is Adni.
Muted.
But me, how come you don't see me here?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Did you say something?
Who is that?
can you hear me? Yes, I
Rudy,
can.
Rudy, you knocked me off.
I knocked, how did I knock you off?
I don't know. You came on, he went away.
Okay,
You did it.
you
Who
did.
is that voice in the background?
I got bumped. We got bumped.
Got bumped.
Okay, we're back in here. Okay, so now, so again, 3 Elokims and the regressive iteration of Adni is the same as Shechina.
Mhm.
Okay, Jim, please go to the very bottom of 505.
So this is alluded to by the fact that the numerical value of these 3 names Elohim, together with the square value of the name Adni plus the kolo, equal the numerical value of the word Shekhinah. So the name Adni is associated with the Sephira of Malchus in general, and Atzilus in particular, and represents the way the contracted divine energy of one world descends to the next lower world and rules it, becomes its dominant consciousness. In the present context, we are talking about how the consciousness of the world of Atzilus is constricted and contracted, and in order to function as lower consciousness of the 3 lower worlds. Although the 3 lower worlds differ from each other with regard to their relative intensity of divine consciousness, they have in common the fact that divine consciousness is sufficiently screened and dimmed to allow self-consciousness as well. In this respect, they may be grouped together in order to contrast with the world of Atzilus, in which divine consciousness is so pervading, there's simply no room for self-awareness at all. The numerical value of the 3 names Elohim, 3 times 86 is 258. As we have said, the square value is the same as the posterior or diminishing value for the name Adni. This is Aleph, Aleph Daled, Aleph Daled Nun, Aleph Daled Nun Yud, is 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 4 plus 50 plus 1 plus 4 plus 50 plus 10 is 126. 258 plus 126 plus 1 is 385. The divine presence or indwelling is called Shekhinah, from the root Shin Chaf Nun, to dwell. The numerical value of this word Shin Chaf Yud Nun He, 300 plus 20 plus 10 plus 50 plus 5, 385. Thus, the 3 processes, names Elohim, through which the name Chavaya of the worlds of Atzilus is oculated in order to be manifest in nature and then manifest in the lower worlds through God's attribute of rulership plus 1, to indicate the whole process as one totality, is numerically equivalent to the result of this process. That is, divine presence, as it is manifest throughout the lower 3 worlds.
Okay, a mouthful, huh?
Yeah,
You say that's the square value. Is that the regressive? Same.
It's the same formula.
Oh,
It's different. The Hebrew, we have different words for them.
okay.
And I think the reason why is because if you talk about like regressive iteration that he calls it,
Yeah.
it refers to a narrowing of the light. If you call it ribua, which literally means square, then there might be a different idea behind it, even though the formula is the same.
And it says diminishing value. So
He said it's the same as.
yeah.
as a
Okay,
posterior diminishing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the formula is the same. 9. Elokim can also have, this is where gematria gets fun. Elokim can also have a value of 52. We just had Elokim 86. Elokim times 3, 258, or 3 Elokims. Now we have 1 Elokim can also have a value of 52. How's that? It has 5 letters, 13 letters in expanded spelling in secondary, and 34 letters in tertiary spelling, for a total of 52. Does that make sense? Yeah.
34 plus 13 plus 5 is 52.
Okay, Jim, continue.
So the name Elohim comprises 5 letters. It is spelled out using 13 letters. And the process of spelling out uses an additional 34 letters. The total numbers of letters used thusly is 52. Okay. So Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, Mem is Aleph Lamed, Pei, Aleph, Lamed, Pei, Lamed, Mem, Daled, Pei, Aleph, Lamed, Mem, strike that. Then there's Lamed, which is Lamed, Mem, Daled, which is Lamed, Mem, Daled, Mem, final Mem, Daled, Lamed, Tov. Then Hey, Hey Yud, Yud, Vav, Daled, and then Yud is Yud, Vav, Daled, Vav, Yud, Vav, Daled, Lamed, Tov, and Mem is Mem, final Mem, Mem, final Mem.
I counted up like 3 or 4 times, so I figured it out.
Yeah, 5, 13, and 34.
Yeah. I'm looking. Is there a mathematical term for? I don't think they're giving it to me. Oh, here's one. Maybe. Arithmetic sequence. Arithmetic. No. Okay. Number 10. Now we're gonna switch. Here I go. We got it now. What's that right? The word final. It says final mem. One word, one letter. Okay, now no, that's mem. It says final mem. Okay, now we're gonna change lanes and we're gonna connect this idea with Shmuel Hanavi, our prophet Shmuel, and his mother Hannah. You know that Hannah, well, I'll read it inside. 10. Hannah, the mother of the prophet Shmuel, prayed for many years for a child. I assume that everyone knows the story well. She made a commitment, if Hashem would bless her with a son, she would have him raised with the Kohen Gadol Eli in the Mishkan. She brought him when he was 2, and she would visit every year. And it says that she made him a small tunic, umeil patan. Where are we? I'm going to go on. Don't stop. 11. The word for tunic, umeil, has a gematria of 156, which is 3 times 52. We just said that 52 is a value of Elokim.
Mm-hmm.
So, umeil, the tunic, was a gematria of 156. Since we used the primary spelling, the expanded spelling, and the tertiary spelling, we will add 3 to 156 for a total of 159, the same as the word for small, katan. She made him umeil katan, a small tunic. I guess. You know, when I was little, my mother also made me a tunic sandwich. Okay. Jan right. No, on white bread. She made him so umeil katan, both numbers, 156 and 159, are connected to this Elokim. And pumpernickel. Do you know what pumpernickel means? Do you know what pumpernickel means?
Cousin of Schnitz.
Do you know why they call it pumpernickel? Black bread. Okay. Not for now. We'll get back to this. We'll get back. Okay. Jim, ready?
Yeah, 3 times 52 is the numerical value of the word for "and a tunic," umayil, 156. 3 times 52, 156, umayil, vav, men, ayin, yud, lamed, 6 plus 40 plus 70 plus 10 plus 30, 156. If we add 3 to this number for the 3 iterations of the name Elohim, simple spelled out once and spelled out again, we have 159. The numerical value of the word for small, katan. Katan is kof tet mun. 100 plus 9 plus 50, 159. This is an allusion to the verse, and his mother made him a small robe, referring to Samuel. Samuel's mother, Hannah, was childless for many years. She prayed to God to bless her with a son, promising to consecrate him to the service of God. When Samuel was weaned, she took him to Shiloh, where the tabernacle was located, and trusted him into the care of the high priest Eli. His mother would make him a small tunic, bring it up to him from year to year when she came up with her husband to slaughter the annual offering.
Okay, one moment. Now, thank you.
That's one of every year, which is a new one each year.
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I have
Took
to,
it back and
I have to look it up. Well, he grew, right?
Yeah, I would think it gets
I
a little
don't.
bigger.
I have to look. I was wondering the same thing. Okay, we'll talk about this about the math sequence later. The gematria of Shmuel is 377 with the kollel. With the kollel, it's the same as chashmal. What is chashmal? I didn't think you'd ask. The prophet Yechezkel, in his vision of the heavenly throne, talks about a great cloud with flashing fire, like the color of chashmal from the midst of the fire. Actually, it doesn't necessarily mean. It doesn't necessarily mean. Ooh,
I am that spelling.
what?
I am that spelling.
Chashmal. The word for color can also just be similar to. So it could be similar to chashmal or the color of chashmal in the midst of a fire. The suggested meanings of chashmal are vague. Some say chashmal is an angel. So it's like the color of the angel, and the angel, I guess, was the color of fire. Some say the word is based on the fact that the angel is sometimes silent, chash, and sometimes he speaks, malel, hence chashmal. But it appears that the color of chashmal is like the color of fire. For our purposes, we're not really interested in the meaning of the word. It's only mentioned there, I think, 3 times in Yechezkel's visions. For our purposes, all that matters is that it's associated with Yechezkel's vision of the heavenly throne. Because of certain reasons I don't want to get into now, chashmal is the word today used in Israel for electricity. And obviously it's taken from this vision of Yechezkel for other reasons. For our purposes, we're just looking at the word, not the meaning. The first letter ches equals 8, and it stands for the 8 spheros that influence and comprise Zerampin, from Chachma to Yesod. Keser, the first of the spheros in Kabbalah, and Malchus, the last, are the spheres that are not included. So we have Chachma, Bina, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Nesach, Hod, and Yesod. Makes 8. That's the letter Ches. You can do the arrow. It'll work now. Down arrow. Keep going. Should go. There you go. Again. You missed it. That right there. The remaining letters are Shin, Mem, Lamed. And they equal 370. And 370 is a number we find in Kabbalah, the 370 lights, the Shin, Ayin, Nahorid. Now, I'm going to ask if you have your books, what are the Shin, Ayin, Nahorin, the 370 lights? I did not find a lot of information. Let's turn back to page 133. On 133, we were talking about the 13 attributes of divine mercy.
Mhm.
Hashem, Kal Rachel B'chanan, Erech Alpayim B'chesed V'emes, Noser Chesed Lof Noser V'Veshem V'Tovanakeg. Okay, and we know in Kabbalah that we've had before, well, we've had it right here on 133, that these 13 attributes correspond to the 13 corners, 13 points or sections of the beard. Number 7 is and truth, VMS. And that, which part of the beard is that? That's the part of the beard that doesn't have a beard. It's the lack of hair on the cheeks. Everyone see with the book, see it?
Yeah.
Number 7, truth, the lack of hair on the cheeks. Okay. Let's go back to the notes. On page 133, we saw a chart that connects the 13 divine attributes, Hashem, Karachim, V'chanan, and so on, with sections of the earth. All 13 refer to divine light in the world as is, without simsum. So that's a very strong blast of divine light. The 7th one, the emes and truth. This corresponds to the section of the cheek that has no hair and can be read like apples. And it's called kakao. It's called tapuchin. It's called the apples. This is the part of the face that glows or shines. If hair represents divine light that bypasses the normal, if hair represents divine light that bypasses the normal process of concealment, the section of the face without hair represents divine light that shines in creation as is, even bypassing the process of hair.
Mhm.
The Arizal writes elsewhere that the garments Hashem originally made for Adam and Chava were from this light. Over there, they call it the 378 lights, as seen in the gematria of Hashmal. So in some places we see 378, some places 370, and some places I saw 375. And I have no idea why there's a discrepancy. The 370 lights that shine from the cheeks is also connected with Birkas Kohanim. When it says Yo'er Hashem Panav Elecha, Hashem should shine his face,
Yes.
because this is the part of the face that shines. And it does say that the 370 lights are from Arich Anpin.
Mhm.
So it could be, I didn't see it elsewhere, it could be that the origin of the number 370 are from the 3 last letters of the word Chashmal. I've mentioned this before. A number of years ago, I was in by my sister in Simcha Monica, California. They had a guest visiting from New York. His father was in the hospital near the Chabad house. So he came, my sister invited him to eat. And he's from Flatbush. And Rudy, I think he goes to Rabbi Milstein's class. He started talking about the class, and he gave over like really good stuff about the 370. And the 2 letters, Shin and Ayin, it's for, I may have written it here later. The Shin and Ayin is connected to Yehoshua. It's connected to, I'll have to see if it's here. We connected different things with the Shin and an Ayin in them, different words. And he was, I don't remember what he said, but I remember he spoke on this topic. Okay, where are we?
The numerical.
Jim, go ahead. The numerical.
The numerical value of Samuel plus a kolel is the same as that of Chashmal, indicating how Zer Anpin comprises the 8 Sifirot from Chachma to Yesod and is crowned with 370 lights of Erech Anpin. Samuel, Shmuel, Shin Mem Vav Aleph Lamed, 300 plus 40 plus 6 plus 1 plus 30, 377. Chashmal, Chet Shin Mem Lamed, 8 plus 300 plus 40 plus 70, 378. Samuel, personifying Zer Anpin, is robed in a small tunic, the protective garment. This protective garment around Zer Anpin is known as Chashmal, the glow, known to us from the vision of Ezekiel. In modern Hebrew, Chashmal means electricity. The Chashmal is a force field that protects Zer Anpin and Nukva from the forces of evil. The fact that Chashmal, the small tunic worn by Zer Anpin, is thus related to the 3 iterations of the name Elohim indicates that this garment is derived from them. Although the full partsif of Zer Anpin possesses 10 sub-Sefirot, as of any partsif, the Keser and the Malchus of Zer Anpin can be considered external to the body of the partsif proper. The Ketzer is, after all, a crown placed on top of the head, and Malchus of any partsif is the expression of the partsif. Erech Anpin is the partsif of the super-rational will, the desire that motivates the bringing into being of a particular world. The 370 lights of Erech Anpin, the will to create the world of Atzilith, are the presence of the motivating goodwill in the emotions. When the 370 lights of Erech Anpin shine on the parts of Zer Anpin, it means that God's motivating will in creating the world is present within creation itself. God is happy with his world, or at least focusing on the aspect of its origin that transcends its behavior. Thus, Erech Anpin in Hebrew is Erech Apayim, the idiom for patience.
Okay, never thought of that.
Never thought of that. No.
Erech Apayim is like a very patience. What's it called? Low temperament? Even temperament. Okay, so Erech Anpin. So yeah, this is why these are the Yud Gimel Midas Rachim, the 13 attributes of mercy, and we say them on Yom Kippur and in the Slichos because we're appealing to Hashem's patience. As the words that you just said transcends behavior. Hashem is happy with the world, and that transcends the behavior of the world, no matter what we're up to and what trouble we're getting ourselves into. This is Hashem says no, he overlooks that. Okay. Thank you. 13. The mother of Shmuel was Hannah. The gematria of her name is 63, which is the same as the second highest value of Hashem's name in expanded spelling. You remember we have 72, 63, 45, and 52. So the second one is 63. This name of Hashem is associated with Bina, because 72 is associated with Chachma, 63 with Bina, 45 with Zer Anpin, and 52 with Malchus. So counting from the bottom up, Bina is the 8th Sphira. And that is for the first letter of the name Hannah. Ches of Hannah is 8, because Bina is the 8th one going up. The last 2 letters of Hannah are Nun and Hey, 50 and 5. We've pointed out the teaching in the Talmud that there are 50 gates of understanding, Nun, Shari, Bina. The gates are made of the 5 primary spheros of the emotions within Bina: Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, and Hod. So this is the name Chana, Chesed, and Hey. Ches, because Bina is the eighth sphera, counting from the bottom upwards. The Nun is for the 50 gates of understanding in Bina, and 5 is for the 5 primary emotions, spheres. Okay, 508. Abigail, please begin.
His mother is Hannah. Hannah, the numerical value of her name, Hannah, is 63, referring to the Sephira, to the 8th Sephira Bina, which possesses 50 gates included in its 5 emotional attributes. Hannah is Het Nun He equals 8 plus 50 plus 5 equals 63. Zeranpin derives from Ima, the partsuf of Bina. Of the 4 spellings out of the name Havaya, giving numerical values of 72, 63, 45, and 52, the one whose numerical value is 63 is associated with Bina, as we know. Hannah here thus personifies Ima, the origin of Zeranpin, personified by her son Shmuel. According to the sages, there are 50 gates of understanding, i.e. 50 levels of understanding how divinity is manifest in created reality. The simplest way of understanding this is as a reference to the fact that Bina, Ima, produces the 7 emotions, each of which is inter-inclusive of the other, giving 49. Bina itself would be the 50th gate. Here, however, the 50 gates are seen as 5 times 10 rather than 7 times 7 plus 1. The 5 principal emotions are Chesed to Hod. The latter 2, Yesod and Malchus, are just the drive for expression and power of expressing the content of the preceding 5. These 5 principal emotions, as they exist within their source, the intellect, are in an expanded state indicated by their self-inter-inclusion of all 10 sub-sephiros. This contrasts with how these emotions exist outside their source on their own. In this contracted state, they are not inter-inclusive of all 10, but only of each other 7 times 7.
So there are 2 ways to get to the number 50 when you look at spheres. One way is 7 times 7, and then you add 1. The other way is to look at 5 spheres and look at each of them as with the 10 subspheres of each. So this one looks at 10 and 5, at the 50 at the 10 and the 5, and that's why we have 5. I thought the 50 is the
Bina.
50 gates. Okay, it's breaking down the 50 gates as the 5 spheres. Okay, 13, 14. There.
14.
Just like the spelling of Havaya can be expanded with Yud, Hey, or Aleph. It means the letter Hey. The second letter can be Yud, Hey, or Aleph. The Yud in Elohim can also be expanded. The Hey in Elohim. The Hey in Elohim can also be expanded with these 3 letters. If you add the number of primary letters, the number of secondary letters, and the number of tertiary letters in expanded spelling, there are a total of 52 letters. And then we said that before. If expanded with Yud, 51 letters if expanded with Hey, and 52 letters if expanded with Aleph. And that's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Abigail. This idea
is further alluded to by the fact that when the name Elohim is spelled out with Yuds and again with Alephs, this requires 104 letters. Spelling out this name with Hays requires 51 letters. As we have mentioned previously, the 3 manifestations of the name Elohim in Atzilus, specifically in Bina, Gevura, and Malchus of Atzilus, correspond to the 3 methods of spelling out this name. When Elohim is spelled out with Yuds, it corresponds to Bina, with Olives to Gevura, with Hays to Malchus. Elohim spelled out with the letter Yud, Elohim of Bina. Aleph is Aleph Lamed, Aleph Lamed, or Aleph is Aleph Lamed Dalet. Then Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet, Pei, Pei Yud. Lamed is Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet. Mem, Mem Mem, Dalet, Dalet, Lamed Tav. Hey is Hey, or Hey Yud, Yud, Yud Vav Dalet. Yud is Yud, or Yud Vav Dalet, Vav. Vav Yud Vav, Dalet, Dalet Lamed Tav. Mem is Mem, or Mem Mem, Mem and Mem Mem. Elohim spelled out with the letter Aleph, Elohim of Gevurah. Aleph is Aleph, Aleph Lamed Dalet, Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet, Pei, Pei Yud. Then Lamed, Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet, Mem, Mem Mem, Dalet, Dalet Lamed Tav. Hey is Hey, or Hey Aleph, Aleph, Aleph Lamed Pei, Yud, Yud, Yud Vav Dalet, Vav, Vav Yud Vav, Dalet, Dalet Lamed Tav. Mem is Mem, Mem Mem, 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 Mem. Elohim spelled with the letter K, Elohim of Malchus. Aleph, Aleph, Aleph Lamed Dalet, Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet,
I
Pei.
think we're on number 3, and Kathy, do you want to go?
Number 3. You want me to read it?
Yeah, you go, and then I'll go.
Right there.
You're getting Zoom bombed?
Children of Vayakhel, were 300.
What's it?
Is there anything here?
I'm here.
Hello.
Are you hearing that?
Yeah, a lot. Some other class?
What, it looks like, it sounds like a class, yeah,
Yeah,
something.
Oh, class?
class.
Sounded like a ladies' class.
What is
Yeah.
my wife?
Right, you having class?
Yeah.
We're good now, right?
It is.
How'd she get into this?
Link, I don't know.
It was through me.
Maybe it was on the three angels.
Yeah.
All right, so Elohim is spelled with the letter Hey. They must think we're studying interesting things. Elohim is spelled with the letter Hey. Elohim of Malchus. Aleph is Aleph, Aleph, Lamed Damet. Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet. Pei, Pei Yud. Lamed, Lamed, Lamed Mem Dalet. Mem, Mem Mem, Dalet, Dalet Lamed Tav. Hey is Hey, Hey Yud, Hey, Hey Yud. Yud, Yud, Yud Vav Dalet, Vav, Vav Yud Vav, Dalet, Dalet Lamed Tav. Mem, 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 Mem.
No, this time in this tract, it did not write the word final, mem.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you. 15. The total number of letters for all three expanded spellings of Elohim is 155. Amazing how we can get so many different values out of one word. Add 3 for the three names Elohim, 1 for the kolel, because there's a total of 159, the same as katan, a small tunic that Hannah brought her son Shmuel when she visited him in the Mishkan. The word katan is small. That's why I did that. We already got. Okay, go ahead. I'm Abigail 509 at the top.
These numbers, when added together with 3 for the three names and the kolel, equal the numerical value of the word for small, referring back to the small tunic mentioned above. 104 plus 51 plus 3 plus 1 equals 159. Strive to understand all this.
Basically, this is what we said before. It's almost the same. We said before that there's 52 when you expand the Elohim, there are 52 letters, secondary spelling and tertiary spelling. You get 52, so 52 times 3 for the 3 is 156, and then add 3 and you get 159. Here we got 159, 155. It's almost the same, a little different. 16. Elohim hides the divine light of Atzilus so it can be tolerated by the lower stages of creation, Bria, Yitzir, and Asiya. The 3 boxes of the Aron made by Bezalel conceal the bright light of the Torah so it can be understood by the Jewish people. This is similar to the small tunic Hannah made for Shmuel, sizing the garment to match the size of the person who will wear it. And if you guys have a better way to express that. So I don't think they say that explicitly, but that is what seems to be, maybe they do say explicitly, or that is the implication that you have to you have to make it adaptable. So Elohim makes Havaya what did I say? Adaptable. And the just as the tunic, she made the size of it adapting to her son. Maybe with a little bit room to grow, Jewish mother.
Right.
Left a little room to grow. Okay, go ahead, strive to understand this.
Strive to understand all this, i.e. understand that the name Elohim of Ima diminishes the power of the name Havaya of Abba, so that Zeranpin may receive its intelligence, Mochin, in stages. In the same way, the 3 names Elohim of Bina, Gevura, and Malchus serve to diminish the power of the name Havaya of Chachma. The 3 worlds, Beria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, serve to diminish the power of Atzilus. Finally, the 3 arcs that Batzael made all serve to diminish the power of the written Torah, a manifestation of Zeranpin, so that Israel can participate in its revelation via the oral Torah, a manifestation of the Shekhinah Malchus. All of this is alluded to in the concept of the small tunic, Me'il Katan, that Shmuel received from his mother, Hannah.
Go next.
No, nothing in the back.
Nothing in the back?
Until Vayikra.
Yeah.
Not until Vayikra.
Okay. Ooh.
That's a nice, I guess, parallel or thing to use to talk about sizing Torah appropriately for people, to refer back to Hannah and Shmuel.
Isn't that amazing?
That's very nice.
Okay. Next week is July 4th, next Tuesday. It probably will not work to have a class. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll be in touch. We'll see if